So NASCAR has finally returned after the 2-week Olympic break, and we already have a major controversy yet again surrounding the finish of the race. Let me give you my opinion on whether or not Dillon's move was justified or not. Welcome to Track Talk. I'll just cut right to the chase and say that Austin Dillon's fiasco on the final lap shouldn't be defended whatsoever, and in my time of watching NASCAR, it was one of the dirtiest moves I've ever seen. Dillon was way too far to make a bump and run happen, and yet he still went through with it, which in turn completely destroyed the 22 car. Now I know a lot of NASCAR fans hate Joey Logano, as he's known to be way too aggressive sometimes and bump other drivers out of the way to win a race. But Dillon's move was 100 times more dirtier than Logano's move at Darlington 2022 against William Byron, which is being compared to this finish. When Logano did his move on Byron, he was within a tenth of a second of him. Meanwhile at Richmond, Dillon was 4/10ths of a second behind when he decided to do the bump and run, which you can tell by the pictures on the screen right now is a massive difference. That's not all though, as Denny Hamlin, who was running third, was able to squeeze past the spinning 22 and the 3, but then Dillon right hooks him and sends him hard into the outside wall. He intentionally wrecked 2 drivers to win, and will more than likely get away with it without any severe penalty from NASCAR. Sure, he might get a fine or a reduction in points, but NASCAR said themselves that they are more than likely not going to take his win away, which in hindsight is the main thing on why he did that move. In this day and age of NASCAR with the playoff system, anybody who's full-time and wins, they are locked into the playoffs. And Austin Dillon knew that this was his best chance to get into the playoffs and race for a title, which he's probably not going to end up winning because RCR has not been good at all this season, other than this past weekend at Richmond. Since he was 32nd in points overall, he had to try and do anything he could to get into that playoffs, which he ended up doing. You can't blame the driver here, even though what he did was inherently dirty, overly dirty. You have to blame the system, because without this system, I believe that he does not do that move. This is the overall problem with the playoff system, because it encourages desperate moves like this in order to compete for a championship. No matter how far back you are or how horrible you do during the season, you can run well at one single race throughout the entire season and win your way into a playoff spot. I know that Dillon basically had the race in the bag, and if the race kept green, he would have easily won by 2 to 3 seconds. But that's not what happened, and instead he was passed cleanly on the restart by Joey Logano, who then got taken out on the final lap out of pure desperation from Dillon. It got even worse when the in-car audio from Dillon's team was revealed, as his spotter blatantly told him after spinning the 22 to wreck the number 11.
Coming down, run him down, back in, come on.
And then Richard Childress, after hearing that, tells the media that it was AI generated? It just shows the lack of respect that NASCAR has had recently, as they allow for drivers to get away with these blatantly dirty moves so they can increase the drama and evidently the ratings. It's also sending the wrong impression for the next generation of drivers, who are going to grow up believing the only way to win is to wreck all of your opponents. It's no wonder why the lower series such as ARCA and Trucks have such a lack of respect for one another, because blatant stupidity like this finish is promoted and encouraged with the playoff format. I don't care who does it or who receives the impact, but this type of finish where the winner wins by destroying his closest opponent should never happen. Anyways, other than the finish, the race was quite good. The different tire compounds worked incredibly well, and it was so cool to see the differing strategies that took place. I also was extremely happy to see that the passing was a lot easier than the previous rendition of the race in the spring, as there were multiple grooves to use. This wasn't the way I wanted to see NASCAR's return end after the 2-week break, but it is what it is, and I just hope that NASCAR will set a precedent of not tolerating this kind of driving on the final lap of the race. What are your thoughts on the controversial ending to the race? Leave your comment down below if Austin Dillon's move was justified or not, and if his win should be taken away. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Take care.